Hey YouTube fam, it's your girl Alicia and I'm back with another DIY video. So in today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys how I design my custom character outfits for kids. I get a lot of these orders, so I figured, you know what, let me show you guys how I do my heat transfer designs and my paint splatter on these outfits, just in case anyone was interested in making something like this. It doesn't have to be the same exact way I made it. Like if you use denim, like jeans and a t-shirt, or if you do have a jumpsuit, I actually make my jumpsuits from scratch, and I'm going to be doing a video on my website of how to make this from scratch, and I'm going to be offering the free patterns as well. But I wanted to show you guys how you can design and create your own birthday outfit for your kids, or if you want to sell it, you can do that as well. So here is my jumpsuit before I completely finish sewing it. I like to put my heat transfer designs on and do my paint splatter before I completely finish sewing my jumpsuit together. Or what I'll do is I'll put my designs on first, and then I'll sew it afterwards, and then I'll go ahead and do my paint splatter after I sew it. So I'm just going to go ahead and set up my jumpsuit on my sewing table, and I'm going to go ahead and start doing my heat transfer designs. So this is the inside. I just use white fabric to line my jumpsuit, and the entire jumpsuit is made out of red cotton fabric. I've actually gotten this fabric from Walmart. It's about $4 a yard, and it takes about 1 yard for me to make this jumpsuit plus the matching hat, and both pieces are in size 12 months. So this is a 12-month size jumpsuit, and so is the hat that I'm going to be making to match it. And here are my heat transfer designs. I've already printed them and cut them out. So I already have a full detailed video of how I put together my designs to print on my jumpsuits. So I'm going to leave the link for that video down below. I actually made a Toy Story jumpsuit in that video, so I'll go ahead and link it, because that video is more detailed in how I put my designs together to print it for the jumpsuit, so that it'll help you guys know how big and small, like how to size your images when you're printing on your heat transfer paper. So yeah, these are going to go on the front of the jumpsuit, and I'm just going to go ahead and place them on there and show you guys how it's going to look. So I'm just going to go ahead and line them up. I make like a mock-up design. Whenever I get a custom order, I give the customers a mock-up design a few days after they place their order, so just to confirm exactly what they want on the jumpsuit, just to make sure that I'm on the same page with them as far as design wise. So I do have the mock-up on my phone, and while I'm placing the images on, I will look at my phone to make sure that I put the images where it is on the mock-up design. And if you would like to know how to make a mock-up design, go ahead and leave me a comment, and I will also make a video on how I make my mock-up designs. Making a mock-up design is really good because it'll basically show you the design before you actually print your images. So therefore you're not printing a bunch of random images hoping that it looks good together when you put it on your customized item. So yeah, so I'll definitely do a video showing you guys how to do that. So I'm just placing everything the way that it is, all my images the way that it is on my mock-up design. The mock-up design was sent to the customer for approval, so that's exactly how she want her design to look. So I'm just going to go ahead and place my images on just to make sure that I have the design put together and it's looking good. So yeah, everything pretty much looks the way that it looks on my mock-up, and this is how it looks at the bottom. Yeah, it's a cute little 12-month size red jumpsuit. The theme of my client's party is Mickey Mouse Uno. Very cute, very colorful. My first time ever doing that theme, so I'm excited about it. I always love to make new designs that I've never made before. It's just so exciting. So first thing first, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just peel off a piece of, this is packing tape or shipping tape. Now if you have a lint brush, you can do that, but I just go ahead and peel off a piece of shipping tape, and I fold it over like into a circle. I basically just use this like as a lint brush to just go ahead and remove any pieces of thread or loose fabrics, or even small pieces of hair that might have gone on the jumpsuit. So yeah, I do this when I make my t-shirts as well. So I just go ahead and do that, and then if I have any creases in my garment before I transfer on my images, I will lightly press, and then when it cools off, I'll begin to go ahead and place my images, to get ready to put them to put them on with the iron. But yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and press lightly, and then after it cools off, then I'm gonna go ahead and start lining up my images once again and removing the backing of my heat transfers. So yeah, one thing you might notice in this video is that when I put the iron on this particular red fabric, it does make the fabric look dark for a few minutes until it cools down. So if you see the fabric looking dark once I pick up the iron, don't be alarmed. Don't, I mean, I'm not burning the garment. This particular fabric just, whenever heat touches it, it does get dark, but it enlightens up when as soon as the fabric cools down. So yeah, so I went ahead and took a clothing pin, and that helps me to lift off the design off of the backing of the heat transfer. And I use dark transfer paper. I don't use light, I only use dark. And there's a reason for that. Dark tends to hold up more, and and it lasts. And I've made myself t-shirts, and I realized that with a dark transfer, even through several washes, it does last. So even for white clothes or light color clothes, I also use dark transfers. I never use light. So yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and place my images, or place the first image down, and then the heat transfer paper comes with a few tissue papers, and you have to use that when you're ironing on your designs. You can't iron on the designs without putting down that tissue paper on top of your image. So yeah, I just went ahead and put my first image on there, and then I'm going to go ahead and iron on that very first image. Now, I do have some Uno images on my website for free. So just in case if you were making an outfit and it was also Uno theme, definitely check the freebies section of my website. I'll link that down below as well. So because I do have free graphics available for you guys to download. They're PNG files, and the background is already removed. They're transparent designs, so you guys can print them. If you have a hard time finding certain images or certain characters for a particular design, definitely check out my freebie section on my website. So yeah, so I just went ahead and put some heat and ironed on our first image, which is the number one with Mickey Mouse ears. Super super duper cute. So yeah, and it doesn't take long to put these images on with the iron, or even if you use a heat press. I'm not speeding up this part. I'm just gonna keep it at regular time, so you guys can get an understanding of how long it takes to iron on one image. I want to say I probably kept the iron on there no longer than a minute. Especially the smaller the images are, the less heat you have to keep on there. So I mean, the most probably, well, the least probably have to keep it on there, it's about 30-45 seconds the most, if that. You really don't have to keep these on at all. And what you can do is, if you're new to doing heat transfers, definitely pull your iron up, or your heat press up. Well, your iron anyway. Pull your iron up and check your image, because your images can burn. Okay, and they'll have like a brown looking color to it, and you definitely don't want that to happen. So if you're new to doing a heat transfer, definitely lift up your iron and lift up your tissue paper and check, while you are doing this. That will definitely help you if you're a beginner. I'm just going to go ahead and cover up the second image, which is our number one green Uno card, and go ahead and iron that on as well. Also, my second tip when you're making character outfits, use Google first. Like, check Google for images first before you pay for any images, because you'd be surprised of how many images you can just save to your laptop or your phone or your desktop for free. Before you go buying images, just make sure you go on Google and find images first. So like, you can go in Google and you can search Uno clip art, and things like that, and then see what images come up. But always Google before you start paying for images. So yeah, so I went ahead and added the number one, the Uno number one, and that came out good. So I'm just going to go ahead and continue and put on the rest of the images. I'm going to go ahead and do our Mickey Mouse next. So after doing the Mickey Mouse, I'm probably going to speed up the process a little bit once I get to the other side. Okay. So I'm just taking my clothing pin once again to help peel off the transfer paper design. And when you're using a sewing pin, you don't want to poke any holes into your image. You're just using it to basically like tap down on one edge of your image, and then that'll help separate the backing from the front end of your transfer design. So yeah, and then when you're pulling it off, make sure you pull off lightly. You don't want to pull too rough because you don't want to end up tearing your image. So yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and put Mickey Mouse down at the bottom, and then I'm going to go ahead and cover him up with tissue paper and iron him on. And yeah, that guys, this is how simple it is. Super easy. Doesn't take a whole lot of time or work, or you don't have to have special equipment. To be honest with you, all I'm using is a pack of dark transfer paper, my laptop and printer, of course, and then a scissor. And that's literally it. You don't have to have a sublimation machine. You don't have to have a Cricut or a Cameo. You don't have to do all of that. A lot of times people look at other people's businesses and videos, and they assume I have to have all those things that they have in order to do this as well. But you guys don't. This is how I started my business, and it works for me, and this is how I'm still running my business. Like, I literally have a Cricut machine that's in a box just sitting there dusty. I have not yet used it because I've started my business without needing those kind of special machines. So therefore I feel, that like I don't need it, to be honest with you. But I definitely will at least try to use it at some point. But yeah, don't worry about not having a certain amount of stuff, or if you want to do this just like how I'm doing it, for income, you start wherever you are with whatever you have. Even if you don't have a printer, you can use like a printer at the UPS store, or even Office Depot, and they have self-service printers that you can use to print off your images and go back home and create your creations. There's no limit to what you can do. Don't ever think that you can't because you don't have certain things. Just go ahead and start wherever you are. But yeah, this is how easy it is, guys. Just print my designs, cut them out, and then iron them on. So definitely check. If you don't follow me on Instagram, definitely follow me, because when I do launch my masterclass video for how I make these jumpsuits from scratch, I'm going to be announcing it on the Instagram. So I'll leave my Instagram link down below. So definitely go ahead and follow, because I'm going to be launching a few masterclass videos over the summer. And every video is going to include the free sewing pattern and fabric details of where you can get the, cotton fabrics and things like that. So now I'm going to go ahead and start on the other side, and I'm going to go ahead and start speeding up, because now that you guys have seen me do one side, it's a no-brainer of how to do the other. So I'm just going to go ahead and wait for this to cool off, since I just ironed it. And I'm going to just line my images back up again. Like, I'm not going to do them one by one the way I did the first side, because normally when I make these outfits, I take off all the designs, place them, and then go ahead and iron everything at one time. But for the sake of this being a tutorial, I didn't want to rush it, so I wanted to take my time and just show you guys and guide you guys through. But yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and do this other side, and I'm probably gonna speed up the video a little bit, and I'm gonna do it the way that I normally do, with taking all of my images off at one time and just ironing everything off together. Sorry I took so long with that Mickey head, y'all. I just gotta get my stuff as close to perfect as possible. But I just wanted to stop real quick and just zoom in and show you guys how you can tell when you need to add more heat, especially if you're a beginner. You see how in the Mickey's head, he's basically almost done, but you see how in the black you can see some like ashy spots or like blotchy spots like towards his ears. That means that you need to add some more heat to your design because we want those blotchy spots to go away and for it to be completely dark and black like the other parts of the Mickey head. So whenever you see black blotchy spots, you could usually see it in the darker coloring of your transfer images, but whenever you see those blotchy spots, that means you need to add some more heat. I call it ashy looking spots or ashy or blotchy, whatever you want to call it. Whenever you see it looking like that, that means you need to add some more heat to your heat transfer design. So I'm going to go ahead and put some more heat on that, then I'm going to go ahead and finish doing the rest of this side of the outfit. Once I'm finished with this side, I'll come back and show you guys how it looks once all the images are on. And then I'm going to go ahead and flip my jumpsuit over to the back, and then we'll go ahead and design the back as well. So now that the front is finished, this is how it's looking. I love the way that everything is looking so far. I changed my design a little bit where the wild is and the Uno cards. I went ahead and put wild on top and both of the small Uno cards underneath and then Donald Duck at the bottom. But yeah, this is very cute. I love it. Basically, it's basically the same way as I sent the design to the customer, just made a few minor changes. Now I'm just going to go ahead and put the small designs on the sleeves. I almost forgot to do that. So yeah, I'm just putting one Mickey Mouse thumbs up hand on one sleeve and then a small Uno card on the other sleeve. And with these small graphics, it only takes about 15, maybe 20 seconds of heat being on there for it to be complete. Okay, so I'm just going to do each sleeve, and then that's basically going to be it for the front of this jumpsuit. So I'm going to do the back of the jumpsuit, and then I'm also going to do the paint splatter on camera as well. Now, if you don't want to do paint splatter and you only want to know how to design the front of an outfit or put transfer images on and that's it, then after I do the back, you can basically just stop watching the video at that point. But if you do want to learn some paint splatter, then definitely check out the rest of this video. I was going to make it in 2 separate videos, but I said, you know what, let me just go ahead and put everything all together. So yeah, this is how the jumpsuit looks and I'm loving it. The pops of color on top of that red is just beautiful. So I went ahead and flipped over the jumpsuit, and when I flip it over, I don't flip it over where the back of the jumpsuit is also on the table. I kind of put it over the table or and make it fall off because I don't want to put any more heat on those designs on the front. So therefore I don't want to lay the garment completely flat where the designs are also on the table as well. I just kind of hang it over the table so that I don't put any more heat on the front part of the jumpsuit, if that makes sense, because we already put the heat on there to attach the graphics onto it, so we really don't want to put any more heat onto that. So I'm sorry that my camera is not focusing, but I'm just using a piece of tape, like once again, and just taking off any little pieces of thread or hairs or whatever that might be on the jumpsuit. Then I'm going to go in with my iron and I'm going to lightly iron. Basically the same steps as we did at the front, we're going to do the same exact steps on the back. So I'm not going to do too much talk. I'm just going to let you guys basically just watch me work. So first thing first, I'm going to let the jumpsuit heat off, and then I'm going to go ahead and line up my graphics or my designs where I want them to be before I remove them from the transfer paper and completely start to iron all of my images. So now that I finished ironing on our designs to the back, this is how it looks. I put Pluto on one sleeve, a Mickey head in blue on the other sleeve. I put the customer's name, some more Uno cards, and some more Mickey graphics. And I also put Goofy and Uno and Mickey's hand, and it's really cute. The colors are very, very beautiful. This is exactly what she wanted. So I just went ahead and hung up the jumpsuit so you guys can see once again how it looks on the front. And then I'll flip it around to the back so you guys can get a view of how it looks on the back as well. Please ignore my dog if you hear him crying in the background. I just locked him out of my room. So yeah, so this is how the front of it looks, guys. I'm so pleased with it. It's going to look even nicer once we add that paint splatter. But if you just wanted to know how to iron on the graphics, then you can basically stop right here. But if you don't, if you want to know how to do the paint splatter, then definitely continue to watch so I can show you guys how to do that. And here is the back of our jumpsuit. Super, super cute. I just love, I've been getting so many orders on these little jumpsuit outfits. It's absolutely ridiculous. It's crazy. I didn't think people would love them that much. But yeah, these little outfits are super cute. I make them in shorts and pants length versions of this. And I make them with the matching hat. So definitely check my website if you guys are interested. But yeah, so now I'm setting up everything, getting ready for the paint. The paint that I use is called Fabric Paint by a company called Shuttle Art. And I found it on Amazon. I'll leave the link down below. I also use these little medicine droppers for doing my paint splatter. I'll leave the link down below for those as well. And a little bit of water. And oh, this is how the paint fabric looks when you get it from Amazon. And inside the box is like 18 different colors. That's why I love this. Now you can also, I tend to run out of white and black very quickly, so I do order like a separate white and black as well. But yeah, it comes with 18 different colors, so you know you can just create as much splatters with different colors as you want. With this outfit, I'm just gonna do yellow, blue, white, and green. Now on the front of the jumpsuit, I didn't go by the color order that I normally go by. And what the color order is you always start with the darkest colors first. So with me doing the white, blue, green, and yellow, I was supposed to start with blue first, then green, then yellow splatter, then white, because you want the lighter colors to be on top. Okay, and you guys will see what I mean, so you guys will understand. While I'm doing it, then you'll probably notice, yes, you should have began with the lighter colors first. But once I put some of this paint into my little paint cup, and you can tell I use this cup faithfully, I just put like a tiny amount of water. The amount of water that I put is literally the cap size of a water bottle. You don't need much water, guys. You just want to thin out the paint just a little, but you don't want to thin it out too much, because if you thin it out too much, it makes the color too light or too bland. So when it dries, it won't be dark or rich enough. So you only put a tiny bit of water, and then you stir it up to make sure that it's going to be consistent when it goes into your medicine dropper. So I went ahead and set up our outfit, our jumpsuit, on a sheet that I use specifically for my paint splatter. I even have a paint splatter t-shirt and sweatpants because this paint, it's fabric paint, guys, so it's permanent. Okay, and I went ahead and put a piece of tissue paper inside because I didn't want any of the paint color to get inside of the jumpsuit. You don't have to do that, but I just like for my garments to look as professional and finished and clean as possible. And I also have a damp paper towel because the paint is not very forgiving. But one thing that I've noticed throughout doing this a lot, that if you do get paint on a certain particular part of the garment that you don't want paint on, like for instance, if I get a whole bunch of yellow on Mickey's face, I can hurry up and use my damp napkin and wipe some of that yellow off of his face. You know, with paint splatter, you can't really control where the paint ends up, but you do have a couple of seconds of where you can hurry up and wipe off some paint if it gets somewhere that you didn't really want it to be. Okay, so definitely keep you a damp paper towel handy. So I'm just gonna go ahead and I just squeeze some paint into my paint dropper, and then I just go ahead and splash it with the paint. As you guys can see, my arms moving, I'm kind of swinging it. I'm just splashing it onto the jumpsuit. This I found to be very easy. When I first began doing this, I was using like a paintbrush, and it was not looking right at all. And I kept wondering, like, what can I use to make it look like splatters? Like, what can I use? And then it gave me the idea because I was giving my goddaughter some medicine, and once I took out the tube to give her the medicine, I said, I need this to use with my outfits to do my paint splatter. This is exactly what I need, is that little medicine dropper. So I went on Amazon and I found a bunch of these clear um, um, medicine droppers or liquid droppers, whatever you want to call them. It's just called a dropper. I found a bunch of them, and it comes with like a pack of 100 for like no more than $10. So yeah, this is a pretty good tool, a cheap tool, but a pretty good tool in order to do these paint outfits. It makes really good paint drops, really good splatters. So here we are with our yellow, and like I said, I did the front part wrong, where I should have went in with my blue first, because my blue is my darkest color. But you guys will see what I mean once I'm really getting into it and adding the other colors, because I actually went back in and had to add more yellow because it wasn't showing enough, because the yellow basically ended up being on the bottom and then the darker colors were on top. So I ended up having to go in and add more yellow after I put the darker colors. So here I'm going in with the green, and I'm going to go ahead and do the same way I did with the yellow. Just squeeze some into your dropper and just go ahead and squeeze them out onto your outfit or jumpsuit or whatever you're going to be putting paint on. Just go ahead and squeeze it and drop it. And sometimes you might have like really big paint drops that come out, but it's okay. You can use your dropper on the big paint spot and get some of the paint back in your dropper, so that the paint spot won't be as big. And keep in mind, the bigger the paint spots are, the longer it is going to take to dry. So I don't like for my paint spots to be too big, right? But you do want them to be all different sizes. But I don't like for one spot to be too big. I try to kind of make it a little bit flatter or a little bit smaller by squeezing some of the paint out of it once it's on the garment. But yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and go in and do my green, and I'm gonna go, I believe after that I either did the white or the blue, but I know I did this completely out of order. On the back I followed my instructions the way that I normally do and did dark to light. So on the back, when I'm doing the back, you guys can tell the difference that it makes when you go from dark to light versus light to dark. So yeah, so like I said, whenever you get some paint on a spot that you don't want painting, you can quickly go in, and you got about 15 seconds to do this. So quickly go in with your damp napkin and definitely get that paint off, like I was able to do just now. Then I just went back in with some more paint and began adding some more paint to it as well. I'm going to give you guys an up close so far of how it's looking with just the green and the yellow. And this is what we have so far. We have two more colors to go, which is our blue and our white. And then we're going to go ahead and add our blue. So now while adding the blue to it, that's when I realized, man, I should have put that yellow second to last because now the yellow is basically getting lost within the green and the blue. But yeah, but nonetheless, the ending of the outfit when it's finished looks beautiful. And there really is no perfect way of doing this. I'm just giving you guys tips of what to do and what not to do. So first tip is you want to go ahead and add your dark colors first, dark to light. Second tip is you definitely want to use a liquid dropper or medicine dropper. That's going to help you out and be a lot more useful than using a paintbrush. And third tip is to make sure you have a damp rag or a damp napkin next to you, so if you make any errors, you can hurry up and try to minimize them, or or try to clean it up before the paint starts to dry, because this paint does dry fairly quickly. And one more tip I'll give you is, if you're making this for like an event the same day or even the next day, one thing I normally do, because I package and I ship mine, so I never want to package anything that might be wet or damp. So one thing I do is I do my paint splatter on the floor, but then I put the sheet on my bed, a separate sheet, and put the garment on top of the sheet on the bed, and then I turn on my ceiling fan so that it can dry my jumpsuit. It'll dry your jumpsuit, or it'll dry any item that you're doing paint splatter on in about an hour, maybe an hour and a half. But it dries fairly quickly under the ceiling fan. So if you have like a ceiling fan in your dining room area or wherever it is, it's best to put the garment up under that if you want it to dry fairly quickly. If not, when I don't do that, I notice that it takes these garments or this paint splatter about 3 to 4 hours to dry if it's not under a ceiling fan. And what I sometimes do is, sometimes I hang it up on a hanger to dry it, because when you hang it up, it actually makes the paint drip. So therefore it'll look more drippy on the garment. So you don't have to do that, but if you want it to have a more drip down effect, you definitely want to hang it up while the paint is still wet. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and finish with my white, then I'm going to come back and show you guys how it looks up close. So after I finished putting the paint drops on the front, I waited for it to dry, and then I went ahead and turned the outfit back over on the back side. So basically I filmed this video within in 2 days. I filmed this video. So I went ahead and turned the outfit onto its back so I can start putting paint splatter. And this time I'm going to do it the correct way. I'm going in with my dark color first, which is my blue, and then I'm going to do blue, green, yellow, then white, which is my dark to light. So you guys can be able to see the difference of doing it the right way rather than me doing a lighter color first. And this circle that's right next to it, this circle piece of red fabric, that's actually the top part of the bucket hat that I'm going to be making to match this. I had paint splattered the brim of the hat and the center of the hat earlier before I began the jumpsuit, and then I forgot to put paint splatter on the top part of the hat. So I went ahead and added that to this so I can do it the same time as I'm doing the jumpsuit. So yeah, it's the same thing. The only difference is I'm doing it the correct way, which is my dark colors first and my lighter colors on top. So I'm just going to go ahead and speed this up a bit so you guys can basically just watch me work, but it's the same way that we did the front. So I'm going to just splatter the blue first, and I'm going to go in with our green, then our yellow, and our white. And then once everything dries, I'll come back and show you guys the end results. And let me tell you guys, you're going to love it, because I already had a few designs that were my absolute favorite, but this just knocked all of them out of the water. This is my favorite jumpsuit design out of all the jumpsuits I have made thus far. I think it's just the colors for me. It's just the colors are so playful. It's just the yellow and the green and the blue. It's just awesome. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish and come back and show you guys the end result. So after adding our yellow and white on top of our blue and green, this is how the outfit came out. Sometimes I do admit I go a little overboard with my paint splatters, but once I start painting, I turn into Picasso. So this is how it came out, but I'm very pleased with it. I love the way that it looks. There's our little hat top. So I'm just going to go ahead and let this dry. I'm probably going to hang it up so that the paint drops could drip a little bit. But yeah, this is how it looks. Once it dries, it looks even better. So yeah, guys, this is our end result. So yes, here is our jumpsuit. Look how pretty and vibrant that looks. Like, it looks even brighter and prettier in person. I tried to put it in the side of my room that has the most light so you guys can really see, but these paint colors, the pigment in them is just absolutely gorgeous. It really holds up well. And look how cute this hat came out. If you guys want to know how to make this kind of hat, this is a bucket hat, I actually have a video on my channel showing you guys step by step of how to make this. Yeah, and look at our jumpsuit, look at our sleeves, and look at our Mickey, and I mean, just look at all of that color. It just came out completely awesome. I love the way it turned out. So like I mentioned before in the video, Since I didn't put in the video how to make the jumpsuit from scratch, because it does take time, it will be a really long video, I'm going to offer that as a master class on my website, and it'll also include the free sewing pattern where I'll teach you guys how to make these jumpsuits from scratch. Okay, I know some people buy like a Dickie outfit and cut it into a smaller outfit, but if you guys want to know how to make this from scratch without having to buy a Dickie outfit, I'll definitely put the link for the masterclass video once I launch it. If you guys are not following me on Instagram, definitely follow me, because I'll be announcing the date that I'm going to be launching my master classes. So here it goes, guys. This is the back. Super duper cute. I know my customer is going to be completely pleased, okay, because she told me exactly what she wanted, and I feel like I nailed it. There's our little Pluto head. I mean, the outfit is just so cute. It's dead on. The theme of her birthday, her son's birthday party, is going to be Mickey Mouse Uno. Very cute theme, very different, very colorful, perfect for a 1-year-old. And if you guys want some Uno graphics, I have some for free on my website. I'll leave the link down below to my freebies as well. But thank you guys for watching this video. I love you and God bless.